Good morning. Let's try again. Trouble is, I've left the canvas. Beck? You wouldn't run out and get my canvas. I've left it on the thing and I've gone live. Okay. You know, like, it's just a blank one on the main thing. Okay, hi. Is that working, guys? I'm just going to put the light on. I've left the bloody canvas in the painting room in my caravan, so my sister's just run out to grab it for me. And we'll try and paint in here, but that's quite a nice little angle, isn't it? Hopefully. I mean, you are going to get my head, but I'll paint at the side. We'll be there in a sec. Okay. Sorry about that. I just couldn't believe the stupid bloody internet started not working. But here we are. Let's see what happens. So we're going to paint this. We'll try again. I'll just wait for my sister to bring my canvas in. And in fact, I don't know if you can see that there. No, you can't. I can see that, so that's enough for me. And I will keep my head out of the way. Hi, ladies. Thank you. Sorry about the drama. Thank you, Bex. You're welcome. Close the door, cheers. Do you want to paint with me? Right, we have a canvas. Okay, let's see what happens. Can everyone see that all right? I don't know if I'll get the I don't know if I'll see the comments. So I'm going to start this morning. We'll try again with the Ultramarine Violet. That's the colour that I'm going to use, with some white just to get our background colour. And you can do that, or you can do whatever colours you want to do. It's really weird painting in here. I haven't painted in here since I started painting 3.5 years ago. So I'm just going to start with mixing this across the canvas just with the ultraviolet, but I'm going to add white pretty much straight away. Now it's your background and it's up to you exactly, you know, how you want it. This is very abstracty, so for me, I like the idea of just playing around with letting my brush be really playful. Is my head in the way? Are we all right there? I'll try and do it from the side a bit more. So your background can be however you want it, and as I say, I'm just picking up the white and the purple, mixing them in together, letting them be completely playful and free. Okay, and we're just doing that around the whole canvas. So the whole canvas is painted in the lilac and the white background. And you can take your time with it, do however you want the colours to be, stronger or lighter. And if you look at this original here, I think I ended up pulling, because I painted it such a long time ago, I ended up pulling some yellow streaks in and stuff after, and I put a bit of stuff on with the palette knife after, but we'll do that in a second once we've just painted all the background in. I quite like for the background having sections of the darker, the lilac being sort of darker in patches. I quite like that for an abstract background. So I'm purposely leaving some of it darker and lighter. And I'm using just a little bit of water here and there to blend those colours in together. This is quite nice painting here. We can see the farmer. I don't know if you can see him, but he's just closed the gate. They must be moving the sheep. So we get to watch the farm goings on. What we paint. So all I'm doing is little strokes back and forward with, sorry, I can't remember if I said, I'm using my 1-inch brush, and the aim of our game is to cover the back of the canvas in these colours, however you want to do with your little style. Add more water if you want to loosen the paint a bit more, and it helps to move it around the canvas and blend it in. Remember obviously that the sunflower is going to be going right through the middle, so don't worry too much on what that's like in the middle, because we'll be going over it. So I love this style of I love this like kind of painting, this style, because I don't do much abstract these days, or I haven't done any since last summer, when I painted, like, if you're new in my world you might not know, but my rainbow painting, and I had like a little series of, I did about, I don't know, maybe 6 abstract paintings, and that happened last summer. But I haven't done anything abstract for such a long time, so even though we've got a nice, oh, must have picked up a bit of black there, take no notice of that. Mine's going to be a bit grey purple there. I'm just blending some white in there to calm that down a bit. I'm going to swirl my brush so that I take out some of that black, because I don't really want it. So yeah, it's quite nice to be painting some abstract again, because I haven't done any for such a while. Whoops, my head's hitting the camera. It's really weird because my position of this, my phone camera, is all set up in my caravan. I had to bring all of that in, and it's in a totally different position now here behind my head, so I'm not used to it being there. This is such a lovely painting. I'm so glad that everyone chose this. That sunset was nice as well, but it's really nice to do something slightly different, isn't it? So just taking your time. You could, if you wanted to, if you haven't already started, or you can do this background with a palette knife if you want to, and you can, like I tend to blend my colours in, but you can, you know, you can make it different to what I'm doing. It's not too bright with that sun, is it? It's quite by the window here. Okay. So all we're doing is doing all this background. Don't forget to take a little bit of water if you want to on your brush, because it just helps you to blend in those colours a little bit. Add more bits of white if you want to. It's entirely up to you how you do your background. I quite like it very messy and patchy. Okay, this is good. At least the Wi-Fi is working in here. Maybe we'll paint in here from now on. I quite like it in my little caravan though, out the way. Remember as well, if you do want it, my original painting of this is quite pale. This one's just turning out totally different. But if you want it paler, just use a lot more white. We tend to forget how, or maybe we're not even fully aware of how strong the colours actually are. So you don't need very much of the purple, of the lilac colour at all, if you like it a lot lighter. This is so nice. It feels so free to just do this. Feels so good to just be messy and just paint all messy and free like a child. So I'm just going to paint this last little bit. I'm painting in the garden in my new, oh, my comments are coming lovely, my new greenhouse studio. Painting in nature. Nice, Marie. How are you anyway, Marie? You all right now? Are you recovered from your, I can't remember what you had, but I know you were having an op or you had something. So I hope you're doing okay. I imagine Sally's on the bus. I'm sure she's on the bus. I always think, who is it that goes on the bus? I think it's Sally. It was so nice, Sally, to see your you accepted me in your group the other day. I think it was yesterday, and it was really nice to, like, you guys see me all the time on video, but I don't know you guys, or some of you I don't know so well, and I've not even seen your little faces before, apart from maybe pictures. So it was really cool to see your video yesterday when I joined your group, and see you talking. So just see you talking about your art is lovely. I really love it. I think you guys are awesome, all of you, by the way. I think you're amazing in all your different ways. I love seeing all your art every week. I love painting with you every week, and I love that a lot of you are getting out there and showing off your work and doing what you want to do, whether that's business wise or whatever it is. It's great. It's so awesome to see. Oh, is anyone else just finding this so freeing? Maybe it's just me. By the way, any of you lovely lot, I've still got 3 spaces on my nice one, Sally, on my art retreat in September. You know, the one I ran in May with Vicky in a field. We camp, or if you've got a van, you can bring your van. And I keep meaning to say to you, and I can't remember if I have, I don't know who's on my mailing list and who isn't, but we've still got 3 spaces left on that retreat, September the 8th to the 10th. And if any of you lovely lot officially, oh, it's lovely, isn't it, Sally? Officially, the early bird ended at the end of June, which is £349 for 2 days. Yeah, like Friday afternoon to Sunday afternoon. Painting in a field with me and Vicky. That includes all your food, and that includes your camping overnight. So if any of you lovely ladies want to come, the full price is $399 now, but because you're in my painting room and I love you, if you want to come and book on, you just need to bring a tent and your clothes, preferably. We don't do naked painting. And yeah, let me know and I will honour that early bird price for you for $349. Right, I didn't bring my hairdryer in, so we're just going to have to wing it and wait for the background to... it's really nice, isn't it? Love those colours. Yeah, wait for the background to dry off a little bit. But also, I'm going to go and swap my t-shirt because I didn't put my painting t-shirt on, naughty. So I'm going to get messy. While we're waiting and while you're waiting for yours to dry, or if you've got your hairdryer, you can dry your background off a little bit. We can start putting a little bit of... You can use your palette knife if you want. to add some yellow in. I would do yellow and white, and you can do a bit of purple as well if you want to. I can't fully see your message, Sally, so I'm going to check with it after, but I'm going to take a little bit of white on my palette knife. If you can do this with a brush as well, and a bit of yellow. Actually, not too much yellow because it goes quite bright. And just start like making some however you want, some bright yellow patches and stuff in the background. We'll add a little bit of dark purple to that as well in a minute. But that's all I did when I did this before. In fact, I might not have even used a palette knife. I might have used, I picked a bit of green there. That's all right. I might have used, you know when you get like plastic cellophane stuff off the canvases, sometimes I scrunch that up and put little blobs on. So it might have been that I used, to be honest. I've got a bit of pink in this white, so I'm gonna go with that this time. And I quite like I did this time on my original one, there is a bit in that corner, but I quite like the kind of 3, and just being playful with letting the palette knife have its say. If you want to, then you could go over that with just some white. Just play with it. Just have a little play on however you want to do it in your way. I'm just going to take a little bit on the end of my palette knife and just let that be a bit playful there. I'm just taking the white now. Just do whatever you want to do, basically. And then you could add some purple as well. You could add, if you've got a darker purple, let's do some dark. Oh, I haven't got my colours. I just brought the colours in that I've got. If you've got some dark purple, use that if you want to, or whatever you want to do. But I'm just going to use a little bit of this purple on its own. It should come out darker anyway. I'm going to go and change my top in a sec because I'm scared. I quite like this t-shirt and I'm going to get paint all over it. So I've just got the little bit of purple on my palette knife, and I'm just going to add some splodges of that in there as well. Just do it however you want to do it. You could also add some white to that as well if you want to. Just let it be playful. So I'll let you play with that for a minute. I'm going to go and change my t-shirt and I will be back. And then we will paint our flower. I think on here as well, I maybe pulled some yellow through either with a brush or a palette knife. If you look at the original, there's a bit of kind of yellow and white. So if you get your brush, you can do that as well. And I would just pick up yellow and white and just kind of swoop it through a little bit if you want to in places. Just play with your background, be playful, and then we will paint a sunflower. So I'll give me 1 sec and I'll be back. That's better. I feel a bit free now because then I'm not bothered about getting paint on me. Okay, who wants to paint a sunflower? So, play around with your background as and when. And you can always add more to that anyway afterwards, because you can, you know, our sunflower's going to go in the middle here and we've still got loads of background that you could just add to afterwards. So with the sunflower, I've left the thing in the flipping, in my caravan. but never mind, we can improvise. Now, if you've got either a mop brush or something that's going to make your middle stipply. I think when I originally did mine, I used my little round sponges that I've got and I put that in the middle to give it a base and give it a circle. But I've left them in the caravan. So what I have got, I've got my little chalk brushes and I'm going to use that. But you can use a mop brush or a makeup brush, anything that's gonna, one of these mop brushes will be fine because we just want to make like a stipply round circle in the middle with your, my mop brush might be better. With some, we'll start with the ochre colour. If you've got ochre, if you haven't, don't worry, you could use some just ordinary yellow, and you can add a little tiny bit of black in it to darken it up, only a tiny bit. But I'm going to start with a little tiny bit of water on my chalk brush. As I say, if you haven't got one of these, use a makeup brush or something that you can do that's going to make a round flower centre, should we call it? And wherever you want your sunflower, bear in mind we're going to have our petals coming out. Let's just make a little round mark with that, or with your mop brush. Now, if you want to, you can start, you can get one of your filbert brushes now, and when we've done that, if you want to make it into more of a circle, just use some of that paint that we've put on and paint that circle in, so you've got a bit of more of a base there. But I think it looks like the centre of a flower isn't, you know, particularly an exact circle, is it? So I think it's cool if we do that. And all we want to do is we want a little bit of a base there to pull our petals out of, so we've got something there and we can work on that circle afterwards. So I'm just popping that in now to start us off, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take our filbert brush and we're going to start painting our petals, and we'll do that in, again, if you've got ochre, if you've got the yellow ochre, it's a really good colour to start with, because we want to make these petals dark to start with. If you want to, so this is up to you, because you can experiment and play around, you can use some yellow with your ochre. All it's about really painting this sunflower is if I show you the original again on my screen, we're wanting to just make petals, and we want to make darker outsides and lighter insides, and then we do another layer with some yellow and white to make it lighter again on the inside to give it some depth. So however you want to do, I'm just going to start with my ochre, and all we're going to do with our filbert brush is pull out our petals by pushing the brush in and then kind of making a corner at the end. And we just want to paint, like, it might be easier to do it starting from this side, because then you get to push the brush. Yeah, it's easier to do it that way. So I haven't painted one of these for ages. Does that make sense? So we're pushing the brush on and pulling it into the middle. And then we curve around. And we just do this all the way around to start with. And don't worry if your petals aren't perfect. We can go over them, and bear in mind we're going to put some layers over the top anyway. But as you're starting to come round, just make sure you're curving round with the circle. I'm not sure how to explain that. I think it's easier to go this way, but make sure you do what you find easier. Don't worry if that middle bit, I'm just going to put a little bit of white in it so we can see it a little bit better, so we know where we're aiming. And then the trick is, as you come round, you kind of swoop in, but they need to get sort of straight at some point so they can sweep the other way. But it really won't, once the other ones are over the top, it won't, it'll be fine. And you can always add extra ones in. You can make the other ones thicker. You just have a play with your brush and your sunflower and see what happens. Plus sunflowers and petals go everywhere anyway. No painting. Why aren't you painting, Lynn? What's up with you? I think one of the tricks is getting the petals the same kind of size as well. But I don't know if it really matters. And but I think if we start with just getting the lines in, then you build it up. There we go. So now I can see that some of those are a bit they potentially need some thickening up and straightening up. So now I can spend some time doing that a little bit, bringing them a little bit more into how I want them to be. Okay, just those little ones that are, and you can add some in if you want to. I'm going to add a couple in here, I think. Okay. So then what we can do next on here, yeah, exactly, Joanna, tell her, why aren't you painting, Lynn? Is you can take some yellow and some white together. I wouldn't wash the brush. I would just take a bit of yellow and white mixed together and leave some of that ochre on there, and start to leave some of the edges so that we've got darker. But you can start to go over, sort of overlap what you've just done with some yellow and white to highlight those. Does that make sense? Can you see how I'm highlighting those but I'm leaving the dark edges? So just a little bit of yellow and a little bit of white on your brush, and go around all the ones you've just done. with that highlight, and it doesn't matter if some are darker and some are brighter. It just starts to give it that depth on the flower. Looks quite nice, doesn't it? And don't worry about the middle too much, because as long as you're aiming for the middle, that's fine, because we can resolve that afterwards. So yellow and white, and leaving some darker edges and pulling it into the middle. Whoa, I've got some blue there on my palette. I don't want to get that. So it's quite a nice simple one to paint, really, and it looks effective. Yeah, I understand that, Jay Cherie. I've not long got online myself. Right, I need a bit of white, because my white has got blue in it. This is where I don't want to get paint on the carpet. Doesn't matter in the caravan. I have to be a bit more careful here. And I've got all my paintings around me as well, all my flipping nice prints and such like. Anyway, so a bit of yellow and a bit of white, and continue to paint in. And if you go over anything and you're a bit like, I need some dark in there, just pick up the ochre again, and you can just edge that again with a bit of darkness. Sort of blend it in there, that will be fine. So you just want to finish off looks really pretty, doesn't it? You need puppy pads on the floor. What are they? Is that like to stop puppies weeing everywhere or something? I need to just go back into my bloody caravan. Ta-da! Okay, so we have something that maybe resembles a sunflower now, and you can play around with yours as much as possible. I'm going to leave it because I'm not too fussy on this bit, and I also think that when that dries off and we do the next layer, we can, some of that will be hidden anyway, so it will just look really cool because of the depth of the dark. But you can play around as much as you want to with yours and make these a bit darker, add some lighter highlights in, do whatever you want to do. So while I just wait for that to dry off a little minute, and we'll do the next layer and finish the middle, we will do the little stalk, the little, what's it called, stem thing. So even though we started 10 minutes later, they're brilliant to use for painting. Fluid art's so messy, isn't it? So even though we started 10-15 minutes later, I think this one's going to be not too long today. So to do our stem, we can take some kind of slim liner brush. I think I might have used like black and white to make my stem, but obviously it's entirely up to you what colour you want to do. And you can play around with it. So I'm going to take loads of white and I'm just going to add a tiny little bit of, I have got a little bit of black on my palette. What's up with Linny? Going out soon, watch Joe play football. Oh, all right then, we'll let you off. You can paint another time, Linny. So to do our stem, I am just going to pick like a little gap in one of my flowers. You can have this wherever you want. Like I did this one at the side, but you can do whatever you want really. And I've mixed a bit of black and grey on my brush. Sorry, black and white on my brush. And I'm just going to pull that down, add a little bit more white there. To get like a funky stem. And you can have that as long as you want. You can paint some what am I saying? You can paint some little leaves on that if you want to. I didn't, I just kept mine really simple, but if you want to, you are very welcome. And you can thicken the stem. You can have it wiggly, you can have it longer, you can have it however you want to. I'm just playing around with a bit of black and white until I feel that looks quite cool to me. Because it's abstract as well, so do whatever you want with this little stem. There we go. Okay, I might run in my sister's bedroom and grab a hairdryer and just dry this off so we can do the next little layer. So give me a sec and I'll do that and then we can do that. In the meantime, keep building up your layers and we could start doing the middle bit. No, we'll do the next layer, I think, first. We'll do the next layer and do the middle after. Just going to grab the hairdryer. One sec. I'm nicking your hairdryer back. Now the trick is not to get the wires pulling all my paint over. Yesterday, did you guys see that I put the my gazebo thing up in my garden? I don't know if you saw that because I didn't do the market I was supposed to do because it got cancelled. So I practiced and put the gazebo up in my garden, right? And I had all my tables up in there and I displayed all my art just to see what it would all look like up and stuff. And then yesterday I was painting the beach huts because I've got this event on Saturday and I was practicing painting them yesterday in there and the wind was just crazy. And I went in to say to my auntie, will you help me get that gazebo down because it's just flying everywhere. We had a cup of tea. And went back out 10 minutes later and the gazebo had just gone, it had just upended itself like whee onto its side and it had pulled all my tables down, my paint was on the floor, my phone, I'd left my phone out there, my phone was on the floor, all my paint water and just flung everywhere, paint was everywhere. Oh my God, it was funny. I was like, oh my God. So, I can't remember why I was telling you that. I don't know. But I was just thinking, oh, if I put this hairdryer in, I don't want to pull everything and have paint fly everywhere. But at least it was on the grass. Got wet paint, white paint all over the grass. Had gin yesterday, giggle fit. Proper showed Dave up. Oh, Linny, getting pissed, naughty. Right, I'm just going to dry this off and then we'll do the next little layer in the middle. Let's see if this, oh, I bet this one's really powerful. Woo! Yeah, it's a bit powerful. Right, that should be okay. Okay, I'm going to... So for this layer, we're going to do the same thing again. We're going around with doing our petals. As always, if the filbert brush maybe doesn't work for you and you want to use a different brush, you know, a small little round brush might be better. As long as you're kind of pushing that shape on, it doesn't really matter which brush you use. But again, we're going to go with yellow and white this time, but I would up the white so that it's lighter than what you've got in your background. And we're just going to go around and do the same thing, but this time we're obviously going to kind of pull the petals in between the ones we've already got, and they're going to be shorter. So we just want to pull in like this. Does that make sense? So we're doing another little layer. You might need to do 2 coats on this one. We'll see, because then we want to put some purple over it. So we're just using the shape of the brush and pulling that little kind of petal in there. And it doesn't have to be between every single one, just let them go wherever they kind of go. It's fine. And turn around as you go. And don't worry about the middle section, because that will resolve itself once we've done this little bit. That's looking cute. Is my head in the way? I've just suddenly realised. So yellow and white. Pulling these little petals into the middle, like so. How's that looking? Now, what you can do next, if you want to, I'm probably going to leave mine as it is. I'm all right with that. But you can do another layer now if you want to dry that off and put some extra white in if you want to highlight those ones that we've just done. So again, it's just a case of, I just kind of pull it down one side. So we leave some of that yellow in, but it just highlights it a little bit more. So it's up to you, and you can add some with a little bit more white on, and you can leave some just as they are. So you play around with it and yeah, play around with it. So that leaves us to just dry that bit off, and we'll do a little bit of purple next and then finish off the middle section. So with the purple, I'm going to suggest that we mix it with a bit of white, because it is going to be quite strong. It is quite a dark colour. Unless you want it dark, it's fine. Try a bit of both. Try it dark first if you want to. We might not need to, I can't remember if I dried it off or not. But what we want to kind of get the look of next, if you want to have a little look at the picture, we've got some dark purple that kind of comes out of the middle into the petals. So it might be that I used a bit of white with that, or it might have been that I didn't. I'm just not sure. So I'm going to use my filbert brush. I'm just going to take the purple as it is and we'll see. And for this, we're just going to pull in just some very fine little lines in each petal. And again, this will, when we do that middle bit, this will come together a bit more. So just let those little fine lines pull up into your petals a little bit. And you can have some that's a bit, if you want to try it with white in your purple, you can. But just trust this bit of the process, because it might look a bit weird at the moment, but it will look good once we've done that middle bit, where you can see from the original that it looks good. And I'm just using the edge, like the tip of the filbert brush, and pulling it in very gently. Okay, so like, is that on camera? Strong? Is it on? Does that make sense? Hopefully. And then we can do the middle bit. So the middle bit, I'm going to use you want something stipply. So I'm hoping I've got one of my little small makeup brushes. I just threw all my brushes in the pot. I can't find anything. You could use the edge of a 1/2 inch brush. You could use, I'm going to try this because I've got this. So I've got this like round brush, which is kind of weird at the end. So I think it might be stipply, hopefully. But anything you want to. And I'm going to go straight back to that ochre that we had in the first place. And I'm just going to kind of stipple that around in a kind of round position. Okay. And then we want to, I think I've maybe added some black, some lighter yellow in there and some black. So we'll go with a little bit of the light yellow with some white on it. And stipple that in there in places as well. But you want it so that you can see some of the darker areas, and if you need to darken it up again, go back in with the ochre. Just play around with this bit. You might want to add, like for me, if I was going to be painting this properly, some of that purple now looks a little bit faded. So I'm going to pick up my filbert brush and pull some of that back out again over here. Okay. And then if you want to take a very, very small bit on your brush of, back to the stipple brush, and I'd probably mix it, take a little bit of black, sorry, and mix it with the ochre to get those darker patches in there. You could take a, what else would stipple it? Usually the mop brushes or the little makeup brushes, which I can't flip and find. Yes, here we go, found one. Are very good for stippling. So I found my little one, and if you just, I'm going to pop some ochre on the brush because I don't want it too dark, and just dab it into some black as well. And then hopefully that's going to stipple some, yeah, that's a bit better. Stipple some darker little pieces in there. And then I think I've even maybe stippled a little bit of purple in there as well, so you could play around with that and add some purple in there. It's quite cool, isn't it? Yeah. And there we have it. We're pretty much done, which I can't believe. I'm sure I came in here and started the next live at like 10 past, so we're even under an hour for that. But what you can do now, which I am not going to do in here, but you can finish off and do some more in your background. Like mine's a bit, my original one, I think the flower was bigger and it took up some more space. Whereas we could maybe add some little leaves in here. Let's do that. Let's do that, shall we? I might just do them purple. Some purple leaves. So I'm just going to take my slim brush and paint some little leaves in there. That looks pretty cool. I'm going to add some white to it. How cute does that look? Can you see? A little purple leaf there. I'm going to put one on the other side, and I've just put some so I'm just doing this in purple, and then I added a little bit of white to give it a bit of a highlight. Ta-da! That looks pretty cute. But you can paint some leaves in if you want, or you can not. You don't have to. You could even do them green maybe if you want to add some colour in. I might add some purple down the stem now. So yeah, you can be playful, and I'm just going to take a little bit of black and see, add that to a bit of purple, and darken up that leaf a bit. How cool is that? This is the thing, isn't it? You could just keep painting. Keep on painting. I've just added a little bit of black there to the edge of that leaf, that's all, to darken it up so it looks a little bit 3D, I suppose, with a bit of white on there and a bit of dark on there. Just going to add a little patch of white on that other leaf again to brighten it up, and then we're done. There we go. And that is how you paint a sunflower. I'm really got engrossed now and don't want to stop. So yes, I hope you've enjoyed today. And I'm looking forward to seeing your sunflowers. And ta-da! We're done, kids. We're done. And thank you for bearing with me for... oh, don't forget to sign your art if you want to as well. But thank you for bearing with me and giving me time to come in and paint inside. Don't forget, as you carry on with your sunflower, you can add more leaves if you want to. There's no problem if you wanted to add extra petals in. You could bring these out more. You could do more layers and more abstracty in the background if you want to. So I hope you've enjoyed this week. What's next week? You guys get to choose next week. What's the date next week? I'm going on holiday in a couple of weeks, but I think we've still got 2 weeks left until I'm away. So all good. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me today, people. And I will see you soon. Look forward to seeing your creations tomorrow. Have a lovely day too. Take care. Bye.